I've been homeless 5 years.
I've been homeless for 6 years, going on 7.
And I've been homeless almost 21 years.
I've been on the streets since November 19, 2010.
I've been, like I said, homeless for on and off for about 19, 20 years.
Well, I've been homeless since the beginning of 2011.
But being homeless is something different. You know, you have to struggle to survive and find things to eat and find clothes to wear. And
it feels like it's about 10 years ago was the first time I made it over here. The main reason that I've had trouble coming back up is, you know, just being incarcerated.
We're living in an alley right now, and we really ain't got nowhere to go.
It seems easy to fill out an application and go look for a job, but then you just get tired of getting rejected.
You take it day by day, you know, that's all what we can do. I've applied for housing. They have me on a waiting list. I've stayed at Salvation Army. I've stayed out at Tent City, the women's shelter.
Support structure, like I don't have a support structure. I don't have any family that had money or anything. Like my family died when they were, when I was younger. So I've been pretty much all by myself.
Because you don't know what you got until you lose it. And when you lose that, you ain't got nothing. And it's hard to get back.
My name is Drew Farmer. I'm the judge of County Court at Law Number 2, Lubbock County. I've been on the bench for 17 years and was with the District Attorney's Office 8 years before that. And so I'm fairly familiar with the issues of mental health and homelessness that come through our Lubbock County Jail.
My name is Sam Hans. I'm the Programs and Reentry Coordinator at the Lubbock County Detention Center. We do see quite a bit of homeless individuals that come in and out of our facility.
I'm Greg Stevens. I'm an Assistant Police Chief with the City of Lubbock, Texas Police Department. Being homeless puts you in a very vulnerable position. Sometimes we see that they're victimized in random acts of violence, but also we see situations where one homeless person victimizes another simply because it's easy to do so, and it's underreported.
I wouldn't have to be waking up every 2-3 minutes to check, oh, who's coming, or am I going to get hurt that night?
If they get arrested for a minor offense, if they don't have the money to bond out of jail, then they are in there for a long period of time. If they have mental illness, many times they're off their medication, and we have to get them stabilized again before they can go back out to the community. If they're in more than 30 days, they lose their services, their Medicaid, their housing, all of their possessions are usually lost.
On every job application, there's just this little thing right there that says, have you ever been convicted of a felony? And when you check that puts you on the bottom half of the pile automatically. But incarceration, it provides a very welcome opportunity for us to become complacent and get lazy. And you know, the three hot meals and a cot every day is very appealing to somebody that's freezing outside and starving.
People see a situation where a homeless person is involved. They see them sleeping on the streets, or for whatever reason believe that it's a situation they need to call the police. And too often, the law enforcement is the solution chosen when it's not the best solution.
To house an offender at the detention center, it costs right around $65 a day.
Probably 60% of our jail population have some sort of psychiatric issue, and a good third of them meet the big three, which is schizophrenia, bipolar with psychosis, and person with homelessness and mental illness end up costing much more than a regular inmate at the Lubbock County Jail. They tend to stay longer, and their costs are higher, both in personnel, medication, and medical costs.
He has grandma seizures and schizophrenic and bipolar and all that and everything.
My drinking contributes to my self-medication.
Lubbock County is very, very forward-thinking in that our commissioners have stepped up and put money into mental health services in our community jail, and we have wonderful services there, and they are busy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week because of those issues. But it's very, very expensive for us to handle it in the jail. That's not where it's not where they need to be. It's not the best place for them to get back on their feet.
Our priority is to lower the recidivism rate, which is in the 80th percentile. The problem is that all the work that we put into people while they're in our facility, we don't have a transition on the outside. And that's what's needed. To me, it's the most important part.
Many, many people don't have anywhere to go. And if you can get them out of the jail on that first step and just get them started, then then a lot of people can stay out of that criminal justice system instead of being stuck in that revolving door.
When I go to the hospital, I hate it because when I'm sick, and they keep me like 2 or 3 days. If not, then I have to walk back.
My name is Christopher Peel. I'm a physician here at University Medical Center and the medical director of the emergency center. Depending on the emergency departments to take care of those people is an incredibly costly way of doing that. And probably not a very personable way of doing that, because they're going to see someone different every time, and they're never going to feel like they have a good physician-patient relationship. And that's an important part of healing.
My name's Jillian Edge, and I'm the case manager here in the ER, and I am primarily here to help get patients additional resources, whether that be out in the community or while they're in the hospital. The ER can only do so much in a small amount of time to try to stabilize the event and send them on their way. It's that management afterwards that's so important to a patient's health and outcomes.
So for homeless patients, if unlike people who do get primary care, their problems tend to be unrecognized until they turn into something more serious. You come to the emergency department, it's probably $300 just to register in, and the average visit's, I'm sure, well over $1,000. And it can go into multiple $1,000s really quick, depending on what kind of tests and studies that you need. I know you mentioned a toothache getting worse. That can certainly happen where it starts to swell and form an abscess on the face. A bug bite or something really minor, because you don't have a place to take a shower or be clean, it turns into an infection. Before you know it, you need to be in the hospital for a few days getting antibiotics. So you're looking at tens of thousands of dollars of care.
We have had patients that come in and they've had an accident and they leave here with crutches, but eventually those crutches get taken away or lost or stolen, and so then they're left to their own devices when there's continuing to fall, and they come back in repeatedly for falls and cuts and bruises and things like that because they don't have the necessary equipment they need to properly heal.
One of the difficulties that we face every day is when we let these people go, where do they go? 2 o'clock in the morning, they come in, we treat them, where do they go? It's 19 degrees outside.
It's important for these patients to have somewhere to go so they're not out in the elements with open wounds or sores.
Having a place to send that person to where they can actually heal is vital, crucial, and difficult for us. The number of resources, there's a lack of resources. If you can tackle the homeless problem, you will save not only monetary money, but you'll save people a lot of grief. You can't put a cost on that.
My name is John Seibert. I'm President and Chief Operating Officer of City Square. City Square has over 500 units of permanent supportive housing in Dallas. It sounds elementary, but housing is the cure for homelessness. We've seen some real promising outcomes with a housing first approach, especially compared to other approaches to housing the homeless. If folks that are chronically homeless are going to stabilize and actually improve their lives, they need housing first before they can really go on another trajectory.
My name is Ed Eason. I'm the Vice President of Health and Housing for City Square. As long as people are living in places not fit for human habitation, or they're living in shelters or any place else, they're just not going to be able to stabilize their lives like they will once they're into housing. So housing is the first step in turning people's lives around.
Substance abuse gets better when housing comes first. Mental illness improves and can be treated once there's housing first. But it's really hard to get any of these kind of outcomes without housing. It costs the county on average $40,000 a year per person to keep the folks that we will house on the streets. We can house each one of them for less than $15,000 a year.
Those people who are the most vulnerable, the ones that have the highest level of acuity, are the ones that are costing you the greatest amount of money and resources in emergency services, in police, county, courts, fees, and all those sort of things, your public hospital system, using your emergency rooms. Those are the individuals that you want to get housed first, and that's what Housing First does. It screens people based on their acuity and their level of need and gives them the services first, and then the other people who can become housed and become more stable with less support then fall in behind those.
There was a neighbor who moved into our Housing First property, and a week later I had to do a double take because I couldn't even recognize him.
My name is Raquel Padilla. I am the president of the South Plains Homeless Consortium. We have identified a gap in service, which is permanent supportive housing, which will greatly benefit the chronically homeless in the region.
Hi, I'm Chad Wheeler. I'm the executive minister at Carpenter's Church. We've been working among those experiencing chronic homelessness in Lubbock since 1998. We've seen support without housing, and we've seen housing without support, and neither of those has worked well for our friends who are chronically homeless, and we've become convinced that this is a great way of addressing the need that many of our friends face.
My name is Jamie Wheeler, and I'm the resource minister at Carpenter's Church. I currently provide case management for our residents in the Housing First program. Housing First is a great opportunity to provide support to people who need it, while also being able to provide them stability through housing.
Of course, at Carpenter's Church, we're committed to helping our friends because it's the right thing to do and because we love our neighbors. But we also believe that Housing First is a smart approach, is a real solution to chronic homelessness.
As a case manager, I'm available to provide support, to help connect people with resources, and also to be an advocate in their corner for the things that they need in life that are going to help them be successful.
Hi, my name is Ricardo Cortez, and I'm living here in Carpenter's Housing for the last 2 months, and I'm grateful to be here.
My name is Ishmael Carranza, and I've been living here in supportive housing here at Carpenter's, and for a year and a half now. And hopefully I'll be here another year and a half. Not only one door, not two, but several opportunities have opened up for me being here.
I have a roof over my head, shower, clean clothes, food, everything that I was lacking before. I'm
still in school. That part's been a little difficult, but then I've been out of school for a long time. It's a good feeling to know that you're working, that you know you're doing something. I pay rent here at the supportive housing. It's not given to me, I pay my way through. And it's a good feeling when you pay your way through something. It's not just given to you.
I can go in and out, cook anytime, rest wherever I want, take a shower at date or at night, and be myself.
It's home. I come here. I can go visit, and I'm back here. I'm home. This is home for me. It shows that it can work, because I'm here.